Gonna have some fun, guys. Hey, what's up? You doing killed here? Trying to see if I can get the cape. Should be able to, I think. Just gotta pay more attention. Kind of annoying without overloads, not gonna lie. This looks like fun. We'll play more safe, otherwise I'm gonna get killed here. Gotta have some fun, guys. Shit. Okay, what that guy? Oh shit, can't hit me. Fuck off, you bird. Okay, what was that? Why did my sound? Fucking hell, this is annoying. Why does my sound keep going out? Fucking sound keeps going out. It's so annoying. Actually, you know what I should do? Okay, I'll let switch over to my headset, guys. So I don't have to deal with this while I'm in the middle of fucking killing this. Oh, I need to turn this off. Okay, volume mixer. Oh, and RuneScape's not gonna show up. Are you serious? Man, that's annoying. Whatever. Fuck you. Not like it really matters, I guess. Jed's pretty easy for AFK. I just like the sound. That's what I've always liked. Okay. Wait, triple jet. Wait, is Hurricane next? Oh, Hurricane is next. Nice. Okay, we're good. Fucking bro, that's bullshit. That should not have hit me like that. Dude, bro, why is it hitting so fast? Is it because it's fast? That's dumb if it's faster that way. So dumb. I don't know if killing the tendrils is a thing or not, so I'm not gonna play with it. Oh shit, I just realized I don't think I have enough shit, yeah, I need to be careful with my prayer. Okay, I need to like drink all the way up. I need to kill Zach like really fast when he comes up. Dude, that's dumb. Should not have hit me from there. Fucking hell, bro. Need more super restores. And my audio went out, so they fucking messed me up. I hate this fucking system. Like, fuck off, guys. I don't know why this does this. Like, the system is really retarded. Yeah, like fuck off and work audio. Why do you do that, Leagues? I guess I might as well kill Zuck now. Fuck this game and its bladed dive mechanics. When the fuck did I get a necromancer now? Wait, are you serious? This one? Oh, there's the onyx that I've been needing. Ah, hell yeah for onyxes, guys. remember. Retarded having to do this as an Iron Man. Oh, shit. It is what it is, though. Guess we could do something with this. Yeah, I gave that to Tyler. Ah, crap, I pushed the wrong button. Why is it doing the spinning wheel of death? No. I hate that. I honestly hate this game sometimes. Why it crashes so much. Yeah, I really hate that RuneScape is locked behind a lot of the quests. Makes it kind of annoying. Well, at least this time. Dude, XP on that is trash. What the fuck? I don't even have the requirements for that quest.
legendary pirates clashing, potential devil fruit reveals, and some powerful new fighting techniques are just a few of the truly insane things that we're now seeing as God Valley is finally happening. And of course, some truly chaotic forces are also closing in on each other as the core groups of the God Valley incident, the Rocks Pirates and the Raja Pirates, are finally making their way towards each other at a breakneck pace, and we need to talk about all the wild reveals that we're getting as the greatest pirate battle of all time, until now at least, is finally being revealed by Oda. And I truly don't think that there's any better place to start than the man of the hour, my favorite character in all of One Piece, the Dark King, Silvers Rayleigh. Now, as you can imagine, half of me wanted to make this entire video about Rayleigh, but then I kinda opted to just start with him because chapter 1161 showed a bunch of characters off that truly deserve some part of the conversation. But like, dude, Rayleigh went psycho this chapter. I mean, look at the panel before he unleashes his attack here. The way that Oda drew that is crazy. He looks like a literal demon with like the white glasses and I can see why people call him the Dark King now finally. Like, sheesh. Okay, maybe Scopper and Sanji are right here and the power of love goes crazy apparently, because in one fell swoop with his red spider lily attack, also known as the Higambana, Rayleigh diced up Summers real good and thus saved Shaki. Now for all you Demon Slayer fans out there, which apparently there are tons of based on those Infinity Castle sales, that's crazy numbers. You might recognize the name of that move since the spider lily is a very important symbol in Japanese mythology that appears in a ton of different anime and manga. This flower represents death, the afterlife, and guiding lost souls towards that afterlife. And actually kind of thinking about that, it's kind of a cold attack name because it's a kill shot that gently guides that person that Rayleigh defeats towards their afterlife. I love that detail. It's very unsettling, but in a good way, in the best way. Speaking of that attack, it's actually very important in itself because depending on what now happens with Summers in the upcoming chapters, we'll finally learn right now if the Raja Pirates have just straight up always been able to override the immortality of the Holy Knights, or if Summers just, comes, repairs himself, and they might actually have to figure out how to defeat them here right now on God Valley, and this could actually be pretty cool for them to be seemingly wiping out the Holy Knights right now, just for all of them to become a threat upon activating their immortality abilities a little bit later. And thinking about it, I don't actually think that Rayleigh really used Conqueror's Haki in his attack, so this might actually just be what Oda is setting up during his interaction here. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess, but regardless, I'm really happy to see Rayleigh finally get over himself and have, a cute interaction with Shaki in this chapter. I think that he's been playing things way too cool, and seeing the two of them just burst into tears and hug it out was just such a truly beautiful moment. I'm a little bit surprised, I gotta say, it happened that soon, which does make me think that Garling is gonna make his move against Rayleigh on God Valley, if only, because Rayleigh saved the absolute baddie that Garling was trying to bag himself. And hey, real quick also, I need to shout out Roger here for actively choosing to fight Whitebeard and thus telling Rayleigh to go save Shaki. Come on, go get her. Like, Rayleigh may be the wing of the Pirate King, but the Pirate King is an absolute wingman in this chapter. And based on Rayleigh's reaction during his sweet hug, I kind of think that Roger might actually have realized that he was kind of the main problem here. I'm actually kind of starting to think that Rayleigh always loved Shaki the way that the rest of them did, but didn't act like a fool that way, or I don't know, maybe he was just so loyal to Roger that he put his captain over his own wishes. And so that little love note interaction that Shaki gave to Rayleigh from a previous chapter here might have been the moment that Roger finally realized that Rayleigh should be the one to be with Shaki. But Rayleigh wasn't pursuing her, so Roger realized that he'd have to maybe quite literally push him and give Rayleigh explicit permission. So I'm really proud for setting those two up, Roger, getting some plus points in my book again after the last chapters where you didn't get off that great, I personally feel. But maybe the most surprising thing for Rayleigh, at least in my opinion, is that he was the one to cut down Summers here. I don't know about you, I totally just expected that to be Scopper's role. But like I said a moment ago, Summers could still regenerate at this point, and that might be when Scopper swoops in and protects Rayleigh and Shacky's escape route or something. That's kind of what I'd put my money on right now, because Summers looked at Scopper with, you know, this sheer look of terror during their interaction on Elbaf in chapter 1148 and then 49. So unless he just sees Scopper and associates Rayleigh and Roger with him, I think that these two definitely have some history, and I can't see it happening anywhere else than on God Valley right now. Also, we have to remember that this flashback is happening during Elbaf still, yes, where Scopper is now mentoring Loki and Luffy, and so this kind of seems like the perfect time to show off some Scopper Gaman hype as well, because he's actually relevant to the story right now. And I guess there's definitely a case to be made also that Oda might just save some of that Scopper Gaman hype for the current era, but I think that'd be almost like a missed opportunity to not see some prime Scopper Gaban action shredding some fools on God Valley right now to kind of get us excited for when we return from the flashback. Speaking of shredding folks though, we should probably also talk about the man that everyone's hyped to see, the future Pirate King himself, Goldie Roger, because somehow he actually surprised me more than anyone else in this chapter. And here's why. Based on the glimpses of God Valley that we've gotten in some previous flashbacks like Kuma's, I was kind of expecting Roger to, you know, walk into God Valley ready to stomp some pirates, marines, and some holy knights. I just kind of always expected that that would be Roger's primary target, but then we learned that's just not the case. He came for Shacky and the prizes, and is just kind of ready to dip the moment that they get those. And based on how he talks in this chapter specifically, he's not actually there to fight, which is not what I was expecting at all. But it also kind of makes sense, I guess. He didn't know who was going to be there or why. He just kind of got Ginny's message that was leaked about all the prizes being on God Valley, and he had been waiting for about a year at this point, it seems, to save Shacky too, of course. So I guess, in summary, he's just kind of there to secure the objective and skedaddle, I guess, but we obviously do know that that's not what will actually happen in the end, because there's a massive wall in his way. The Rocks Pirates, who I must point out are currently kind of stomping on the Roger Pirates and the Holy Knights, it seems. Like, I don't know if you caught it, it's a subtle set of details, but when you look at how Oda is drawing those factions, to me at least, they do not look like they're all on the same level as we all kind of first thought, or I at least don't want to assume, right? The Roger Pirates are sweating, bruised, cut up, and a little dirty, though I don't know, they might have arrived dirty, who knows? Rayleigh and Roger both look like they've been scrapping pretty hard and taking some pretty heavy hits, but the Rocks crew, they're looking fine. I mean, well, except for the ones getting chased by Garp, but boy, that's a whole separate deal for a different day in a different video. We'll talk about Garp on Tuesday in his own video. Don't worry, that is crazy. Now, what that of course means is that... It's Bino, yes, what's up? Yeah. Hey, hi, hello, it's me, the Fleet Admiral. And Manu, I'm a little bit scared, because hello, Samurai. Now, I've been saying it, and I will continue saying it for the upcoming future. Sengoku was not lying when he hyped up the Rocks Pirates in chapter 957, where we learned about them for the first time, because the Rocks crew, even without their captain, are absolute nightmares that seem to dwarf the Roger Pirates. And then, when you do add in Old Sebek into the mix too, who can, by the way, just casually solo admirals and clash with King Harold, yeah, it's a no. The Rocks crew is the strongest pirate crew and faction on God Valley right now, and probably the strongest crew in One Piece history so far, period. And I see why Garp and Roger actually needed to join forces in order to even have a chance. And honestly, like, this might be a bit of a rough take, but I kind of feel like Roger might be lucky that Garp is there and will inevitably join forces with him, because if the Rocks crew didn't show up, I kind of think that the Roger Pirates may have been just snuffed out by the Marines and the Holy Knights, who we now learn are pretty broken in their own way. I mean, straight up, we haven't seen what Rocks is really capable of, right? But Garp looks like the strongest guy on the island here, to me at least. And while the Holy Knights, yes, aren't doing anything too crazy yet, I do need to talk about one of them specifically, because she almost killed the future prodigy of the Roger Pirates and the Child of Destiny, Shanks. Saint Satchel Maffey here is freaky, man. Like, I don't know. I was really betting that she'd probably be connected to the Rimoshifu family, like killing them for some reason, maybe like a marriage situation. They do look pretty familiar and similar, no? So, I don't know, maybe she eventually marries into that family and is Killingham's mom, but hey, it'll be what it'll be. She also looks like that one dude from Shanks' crew, I think. Gap here. Maybe there's something there too. He did go up to the Holy Land. I don't know, maybe he brought someone down. Anyways, for now, what I wanted to really focus on with her was her laser beam power. Am I crazy, or did Oda possibly imply here that she has the glint fruit, the light fruit that Kizaru uses? I mean, Kizaru would have been around, like, what, 20 years old during God Valley, and we don't actually know when he really got his fruit. The earliest we see him use it was like 26 years ago in the story when he was hanging out with Vegapunk and Sentomaru, which leaves this 12-year gap in which it's very possible that Maffy dies, the, government collects her fruit again, and then it's given to Kizaru when, I don't know, he becomes a vice admiral or admiral. And what a cool turn of events that would be. I just made a video about all the devil fruits that had more than one user. That would be another case. Or, I don't know, she could just shoot laser beams as her power for all we know when it's not connected. I don't know, I'm sure we'll find out. Unless she just died in this very chapter, maybe. I mean, based on how the goat, Whitebeard, absolutely cleaved and dismantled her on accident. Like, Dragon, I don't know, you are seriously the luckiest guy around sharing some of Luffy's luck too. You better pray to our Lord and Savior, Lord Edward Newgate, after you get off the island, because it was actually just unbelievably funny that Whitebeard kind of accidentally saves Dragon and Shanks because he was just kind of ready to slice and dice anyone strong enough in his way. Don't you feel like this is such a One Piece way of saving a character in an almost impossible looking situation? Also, while Dragon did find poor little Shanks with a big old bump on his head, the jury is now finally out on what's going on with Shamrock, because Maffy did take him before getting divided, I guess. So I don't actually know where Shamrock now ended up. Kind of hope he's okay wherever he landed. Still possible, Dragon still took him in as a revolutionary, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's the most likely option at this point. Now, since we're talking about Whitebeard also, I do think we can pivot over to the Rocks Pirates now in general, because they're really like the meat and potatoes of this chapter. Like, they're absolute legends here, and we're seeing that on full display finally. And something that I really loved seeing in chapter 1161 was the Yonko trio of Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom, all three of them running it up as a group. Now, Shiki was also there for a hot minute, but then kind of dipped, but I just love this. Imagine that we got something like this shortly after the time skip when the entire Yonko saga was going on. That would have been the most insane thing ever. And all three of them just kind of feel like siblings doing their best and crushing people. Big bro Whitebeard, big sis Big Mom, and then just little broski Kaido are just unleashing absolute hell wherever they go. No wonder people were scared when they all started forming their own crews. It was very goofy in a way, but also super wholesome and just really fulfilling as a long-term fan of the show, right? I love that we're getting some true glimpses at their origins here, because all of them deserved so much more time in the show, and I am very glad that Oda's kind of completing their story arcs through these flashbacks now. Especially Kaido, by the way. And all three of them are just so on brand here too. Kaido is just a fighting addict who wants to square up with anyone who's strong or stronger than him, something that, definitely shaped his entire life, we now know. Whitebeard, surprisingly oblivious, but also an absolute beast, of course, and Big Mom is sly, powerful, and hell-bent on achieving her own goals, at least until, well, that other demon appears. Dude. Garp made these guys look like fools. He seriously did not care what they did. Big Mom unleashed a Prometheus and Zeus infused attack on Garp, and he just walked it off and told her she couldn't even roast a prime rib with his attack. First off, hilarious joke. Second off, bro, what is he? That is Big Mom, bro. Like, there's no way that Garp took apparently 0 damage from that. It kind of reminds you of that moment that Luffy tanked Kaido's Boro Breath. Maybe, I don't know, the Monkey Clan just like ignores fire or something stupid like that, because seriously, they're all free. Is that why Luffy, I don't know, can produce fire? Is there something weird with the Monkey family and fire, or are they just beyond broken? But even if that were the case, if only it also applied to Magma. Sorry, Luffy, but hey, donut. I don't know. It's also a testament, I think, to how powerful Garp is actually in the story, because Whitebeard and Big Mom both realized fighting him would be way too much for them at that moment. So they kind of just grabbed Kaido and booked it away. The panel of those three running away from Garp while he just rushes after them was like prime One Piece also. Goofy, scary, funny, and very exciting all in one go. Like, this flashback, I swear, rules. It's gonna be so good when they animate this stuff. And we also know that they eventually end up getting closer and closer to the Roger pirates, as we do see Whitebeard end this chapter clashing with Roger himself. And actually, I'm not sure if you noticed, but a very cool detail was that their actual blades here do seem to be touching this time, showing that neither of them has really mastered their full Conqueror's Haki at this point quite yet. And it's kind of fun seeing that all of these legends during this age were still very much growing and becoming stronger. And it actually gives even more credit to that little Brook comment we got about Roger being an upstart rookie when he was around, because, like, yeah, he would have been during that time and a little bit before, and still, even at God Valley, Roger is far from being in his prime, and I think that this battle will continue to show just how far every pirate here still has to go, including, of course, all the Rocks pirates who had the same chaotic, fun, goofy energy that Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom had too. One of the best panels, I think, in 1161 is this shot here of the remaining Rocks crew heading towards the center of God Valley. I mean, Silver Axe shoving Shiki's face back, love that. Their rivalry is such a quirky detail that didn't need to exist in the story, but just makes their appearances so much more enjoyable and adds so much depth to these characters. And of course, everyone's favorite gunslinger, Gil Baster, is also strapped up with his pistol and a dream in this chapter. This is just a personal opinion. I think he might just straight up be the coolest member of the Rocks crew for me, if only because his origins are so unique. In case you didn't know this, the reason I love this guy so much is because he's from another one of Oda's one-shot mangas that he released before he ever wrote One Piece. You know, kind of similar to Ryuma here in Monsters. They're characters that were then retroactively added to One Piece, and I just love that Oda got to include some of his original main characters and material into his magnum opus here. And still, undeniably, the coolest new detail about the Rocks pirates centers around one of the coldest dudes ever, which is Captain John. I can't get enough of this guy, and I've been very vocal about that during this big flashback for now, because this man just oozes pirate more than anyone else has in the story ever, maybe, and also has a very fun subplot throughout the series. In case you don't remember, Buggy wants to find his treasure. He battles everyone on Thriller Bark and is just this cool, strong pirate that, yeah, is nothing crazy, but everyone everywhere seems to revere and know about him. And so color me surprised when it's implied that he has had a devil fruit this entire time, and not only a devil fruit, but one that we have seen before in the show. Every time we've seen Captain John, he's wielded his two swords and a bottle of booze, so I just always sort of assumed that he was an epic swashbuckler, sort of like Rayleigh and Scopper, but in this chapter, he's got a giant metal gauntlet on one arm that looks exactly like Captain Kidd. So was Captain John the former user of the magnet fruit? That would be absolutely awesome. Like, what a cool thing that would be. Like, totally unnecessary, yes, but adds, again, another level of detail and depth to the entire show. Like, now, I really wish I knew this before I made my previous Devil Fruit users video again. You know, not necessarily because of the Devil Fruit, but any chance I get to say that Kidd isn't great, I'll take that, because Kidd is just wasted potential walking and talking. Though I do think that this connection between the two also does work really well, and it's fairly likely now that John did have the magnet fruit based on what we know and how Oda seems to tie the two characters together, because both Captain John and Captain Kidd both just go by their titles and names, so the branding is pretty spot on. We also do know that John does survive God Valley, forms his own crew, and dies later on when they hold a mutiny that is revealed during Thriller Bark, and so this could just be a fun little detail that Oda was now weaving in additionally. Maybe him and Kidd are related. I mean, you know me, I love myself some good relative theories in One Piece, but I don't know, maybe it's just more likely that Oda's tying in some fun stuff into God Valley, almost as like Easter eggs and fan servers for all of us to just go point at and be like, oh, shiny, we've seen that before, you know, and I'm kind of here for that. If someone on Rox's crew or the Holy Knights hits a room shambles, like, I'm gonna freak out. I'll freak out. It would be super on the nose and I would still love it. All right, I've been focusing a lot on the Rox and Raja pirates now, which means I do need to finally also talk about their mighty leader, Davy Rox Kyle, or whatever you want to call him, the Zebek. I don't know. He's actually flying a little bit under the radar so far, very suspiciously. He's on a mission to go find his son Teach and his wife Ellis, or Idis, depending how you want to translate it. I'm actually kind of curious what people are actually going to run with here, and God, I really hope it's going to be Ellis, because if it does end up being Idis, I'll have to dip into all of the Twitter Idis the Tar stuff, and I really don't have time to go into that right now, yet at least. I mean, look it up if you want to. It's a stretch even for me. I do read the comments, I see you, but go check out my video on the Bagua after this if you want a goated classic long-form Ohara theory. But hey, the Idis stuff could end up being true, I guess. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, not for today. Now, what really matters though more to me is what we know will happen, not what is currently happening with Rox, because he has been this fabled monster, someone unstoppable, and God Valley is where he eventually is slain, apparently. And really, there are only 3 people on the entire island who could reasonably pull that off: Garp, Roger, and maybe Garling, question mark, which really makes me wonder, who will he square up against first, or like maybe there's just one battle. And I gotta say, Rox versus Garling would be such a hype interaction, even if it's just for a little bit here. I mean, I do think that we'll get Garling versus Whitebeard to kind of complete that whole Scar comment that Whitebeard made in the story when he met Shanks. In case you don't know that one, during Shanks and Whitebeard's first meeting, Whitebeard comments on how Shanks' face reminds him of the scars of that man that they gave him, and I'm pretty sure that this is now confirmed to be Garling, since Shanks is just the spitting image of his father, so I'm pretty confident that Whitebeard and Garling will clash, but maybe Rox will have to go through Garling first to save his wife, son, and his clan. I definitely do think that there's a really good chance that we'll get a heart-wrenching scene of Garling killing Zebek's wife, and then we'll see Rox go crazy on Garling. And I would really love to see that, because who would not? And something else I'm actually curious about is if Harold himself will end up coming to the island after all. I mean, we do know he was stationed to cut off Zebek from going to God Valley, but failed. So I kind of wonder if the world government will send Harold after Zebek or not, or if he chooses to come himself. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Especially because this flashback is still technically Loki explaining Harold's story, but I would also be totally fine if Harold doesn't make a God Valley appearance. Either works, honestly. If he comes, I'm sure he'll do some pretty crazy stuff. We also could still get a Rox and Garp clash, which I think would be the coolest thing ever. 2 absolute units duking it out one-on-one would be complete fire, especially since it seems somewhat implied by Sengoku, you know, in chapter 957 that Roger and Garp will team up to defeat Rox. It would be kind of nice to see just the solo matchups of Garp and Zebek and Roger and Zebek at some point during God Valley, kind of to get a feeling for why they needed to team up after all. Maybe, like, you know, just seeing that one of them was not enough, basically. And the biggest loose thread for me right now circles back to Kaido's comments about betrayal in chapter 987. Like, there's been a lot of chatter in the space about this remark that Kaido makes during the Wano arc being a subtle tease or foreshadowing to what happens with the Rox pirates, how once they know you'll lose, they'll abandon you, is actually him reflecting on what the Rox crew did to Zebek, which we've already kind of seen happening. It does seem that everyone that wasn't won during a Davy Back fight is already starting to betray him and chase after Shaki for themselves, so we also could still get a Rox and Garp clash, which is still in this arc. Will Shiki or the squad abandon Zebek, or will it actually be Zebek that abandons his crewmate? Or maybe he will betray them, then, you know, not in the way we all think. There's a good chance that Zebek might be forced to betray his crew by none other than Imu themselves. Gonko is on the island, and if you want to know why, how, or when this is probably going to happen, you can check out this video right here where I break it all down. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to all of our beautiful Patreons. I am back in Japan now. My cold is getting better too. Those are all my life's updates, and yeah, I will see you on Tuesday for some Prime Garp greatness.
Hey everybody, Tekking and Barry back again. As you can see, we have special guest stars, the Yonko. They're a band now.
Gentlemen and female female gentleman Vivzy Pop created. Hassan Piker going to jail, Gavin Newsom jail, Obama jail, and Comey jail. Everyone that decides to be a terrorist, jail. Hot take, hot take. If you're a terrorist, you can go away. Donald Trump didn't say those words exactly, but that's what he meant. I understood it. Jail. That's what he meant to say. Anyway, lock in. This is crazy. So Donald Trump made a tweet the following. All right, this is insane. At the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide unnecessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege, attacks from Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I'm so glad we're finally labeling domestic terrorists like domestic terrorists. And I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Fuck yeah, baby. Drone strike terrorists. That's what we're so back. We're so back. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So now, this tweet came out, and in my opinion, it's a pretty basic tweet, right? It's like, if you want to attack law enforcement while they're doing their job, we're going to arrest you, right? You're waving foreign flags very often, basically coming into our streets, vandalizing property, looting shit, attacking police officers, killing us. A lot of people seem to forget the whole killing us aspect of this fun little drama. You know, the whole murdering us and celebrating our deaths. All right, so Antifa is obviously, as we know, the militant wing of the leftists, and the media is the propaganda wing of the leftists. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that until it sticks, because realistically, that's where we're at. Now, there's currently a war going on Twitter where Gavin Newsom, governor of California, decided to put a target on an innocent man's head. So today we're gonna cook immensely. You have no idea how bad things are. So this is the rapper Ice Cube. I bet you none of you expected me to go there, all right? I'll be real, I'll be honest, I'll be real. I bet you were like, Nux is gonna show us how Gavin Newsom is literally telling his people, from my perspective, from my analysis, is he's telling his people to kill people. Right? That's my analysis. I think Gavin Newsom should be arrested as an instigator of domestic terrorism. But hey, that's just my opinion because I'm based. I am the media now, but no one expected me to talk about Ice Cube. So this is Ice Cube. He was having a simple day on a tour bus. All right, simply on a tour bus, driving around the street. You're like, Ice Cube, what are you talking about?
Goddamn, I'm glad y'all set it off.
Sorry, we can't play music as a copyright, but as you can see, Ice Cube's tour bus looks like it came out of war-torn Chirac, which is what we call Chicago these days. A lot of people are unaware. What happened? What happened to his travel bus? Oh, it was firebombed in Portland, Oregon because they thought it was ICE agents. Look, I'm sorry for your bus, bro. I'm sorry. I am sincerely sorry about what happened to your bus, my guy, but this has got to be the funniest fucking thing of all time. Okay, I'm really sorry. So apparently they firebombed in Portland. Right, war-torn Portland, Oregon. War-torn Portland is currently under attack by Antifa. See, I am also Antifa. A lot of people don't know this. Antifa, it's my sexual alignment. All right, so anyway, anywho, JD Vance has been a little bit on fire lately. You have to understand what's going on before I dive into what's currently going on in Portland, Oregon, because finally these people are getting arrested. So, this is how MAGA responded after Bud Light had the audacity to feature a trans influencer in their ads. So spare us the bullshit about violent rhetoric from the left, JD Vance. And this is a video of some dude who doesn't like those she-males in their advertisements with a gun. And there he is shooting beer cans. All right, so that's classic, shooting some Bud Light to show protest. So they're like, as you can see, it's both sides. As you can see, it's both sides. Both sides are the problem here, clearly, as we can tell. We know that both sides are the problem, as we can tell, by violence on both sides. Because Kid Rock has a machine gun. All right, both sides. JD Vance responded with one of the greatest responses of all time. I call upon all of our supporters to stop the violence against innocent beer cans. And I call upon all left-wing radicals to stop inciting violence against people. He fucking killed him, okay? I'm not gonna lie, he killed him. It's over. He killed it. Yeah, this is what we call murder on the timeline. All right, some would argue that this wasn't incitement to violence. This was just straight up bloodshed. That's what I would say. Because that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The left sees shooting beer cans as violence. The right sees shooting Charlie Kirk in the neck as violence. We can never align with this. Like, we're not on the same page. So, speaking of the late and great, wise Charlie Kirk, died on the front lines of freedom of speech against the radical fuckers on the far left. All right, this over here, this lady, is a Democrat candidate for Congress in Michigan. All right, so they're definitely setting their best.
Hey MAGA, how bad does it hurt? The Jimmy Kimmel's back, but you guys can't get your person back.
Running for Congress, by the way. All right, these people are demons. I'm just saying, they're demons. See, I always say that people made in the image of God, we have inherent morals built into our very beings, okay? Just because we were made in God's image. And we have our soul whispering the difference between good and evil into our ear. But the devil is also whispering into our ear and flipping shit on its head. Now, some people have guidelines to the code. I don't know, scripture of some sort. I don't know, some way to guide you onto what really is good and evil and which whispers are coming from the devil. She doesn't have these guidelines. All right, this is what a demon looks like. Anyway, anywho, just to know what we're up against, this is Hassan Piker in his stream yesterday, just nonchalantly doing this. All right, let's make this clear. Is that Hassan Piker just casually humming and singing the Antifa song that was literally written on the bullet of the guy that murdered Charlie Kirk? You know what else was written on the bullet of the guy that murdered Charlie Kirk? Catch fascist, which is perfect timing, because this is a tweet from Governor Newsom's press office, and this is going to be a focal point of the video. We're going to be talking about what's going on in Portland, Oregon, but you have to understand the social media war. All right, again, I've said this the whole time. The leftist militant forces have two wings. They have the militant wing, that's Antifa on the ground, currently in Portland, Oregon, and then they have the propaganda wing, that is the media. So this is Governor Gavin Newsom, all right, tweeting Stephen Miller is a fascist. Stephen Miller, for the record, he's just one of Trump's boys. He's there in the Oval Office. He's the bald Jewish guy, always handing him executive orders while being based. That guy, the guy that basically by Charlie Kirk's thing was like, yeah, we can't unify with evil. We have to destroy evil based. And Stephen Miller is a fascist. Now, a lot of people would absolutely notice the fact that this tweet is basically, in my opinion, trying to get Stephen Miller killed. I'm not trying to mince words. Like, I could sit here and be like, oh, it's just an analysis of political analysis. No, really, it's not. Really, this is a tweet trying to get one of his radical fucking retards to murder Stephen Miller. Like, I don't really see another perspective here. Stephen Miller even retweeted and is like, why do you think they posted this? And the reality is, it's because they want someone to kill him. Because he's effective. And we're going to show you how effective he is. We're going to make sure this backfires. Because, you see, I am also the media now. Not just you, me. I also the media. So therefore, I am also going to show you some of Stephen Miller's greatest hits. I'm going to show you exactly why they're scared and why they want him dead. Because I'm done mincing words. I'm done running around this. I do believe this is an incitement to violence. I do think Governor Newsom's press office, or whoever the fuck is running this account, absolutely needs to be looked at as an incitement of terrorism. I think absolutely we need to start actually taking this seriously, because this shit keeps happening. We had anti-ice on a bullet of a guy that just shot at ICE agents. All right, in Texas, we have hate fascist catch on a bullet of a guy that murdered Charlie Kirk. All right, we had a constant, fascism kill Trump shit. The transgender retard that shot up a Catholic church and killed 2 kids. Like, dude, we're living in this era, and this is putting a target on the back of an innocent man. So I decided to make this tweet because this is my political analysis. All right, my political analysis of the Gavin Newsom tweet is as follows. 10,000 Antifa transgender furries are currently etching this very post onto bullets as we speak. That's where we're at. Yep, absolutely. 10,000 Antifa transgender furries are writing this onto bullets, and we know this is happening in real time. Yeah, absolutely insane. Turn down the temperature, man. It's both sides! Look at the data is empirical. As you can see from this chart, both sides are inciting violence. I'm really glad people are pulling out my data. This stat is from the ADL, by the way. The ADL, the Anti-Democrat League. Holy shit, we need to start the ADL, the Anti-Democrat League. Anyway, as you can see from my chart over here, It is empirical. The data is empirical. I'm so sorry to be the guy to tell it to you. So people are also noticing. I'm not the only one that thinks this is an incitement of violence. Someone assassinates Charlie Kirk and wrote anti-fascist writings on the bullet casing. Now Gavin Newsom's press office posts this. Why? Makes you think it's because they want someone to kill him. All right, I know this is the quiet part. Everyone's like, hey guys, we should leave the quiet part. We shouldn't say the quiet part out loud. Well, I firmly believe in saying the quiet part out loud because people are pussies. All right, they want him dead. They want him dead. They want someone to kill him. All right, that's the government method. That's what they want to do. They want him dead. He's planning on running. Gavin Newsom is planning on running for Congress, for government. Sorry, he wants to be the president in 2028. His entire ticket is on anti-fascist, and he is literally more than happy to have someone kill Stephen Miller. In my opinion, that's what he wants to do. I think this is an incitement of terrorism. All right, so Laura Loomer tweets. So much for turning down the temperature, right? Because that's what the libtards are all saying. They're sitting there in their house screaming, why? Why are we not turning down the temperature? When are we going to admit that Gavin Newsom is one of the ringleaders for the assassination culture? I agree. He's deliberately trying to get Trump officials killed. I truly believe it. I truly believe it as well. Now, Gavin Newsom responded to this, which is why I wanted to show you this tweet. Is this turning the temperature down, Laura? This is literally, by the way, the only thing leftists could do. They could only make bad hypocritical arguments. The reason why they can never hit you from a place of morality is because they have no morality. Yes, that's my hot take. If you are a leftist heathen, you don't have a moral center. Sorry, you don't. Hitler thought he was moral. You think you're moral. That's where we're at. So this is Governor Newsom's press office. Is this turning down the temperature? Sending armed Marines into American cities? Yes, to arrest terrorists based. Calling Democrats a terrorist organization. He didn't say Democrats are a terrorist organization. He said that there are Democrats that are acting like they are in a terrorist organization. Also, true. Using the DOJ to go after political opponents. He did not use the DOJ to go after political opponents. They're getting, what's-his-face, Comey, the ex-FBI chief, arrested. A, he's not a political opponent. B, he lied under oath in Congress, allegedly. Limiting free speech. Free speech was not limited. Where was free speech limited? Jimmy Kimmel is back. But literally, where is free speech limited? This is not even true. Saying speaking out is a blood libel? No one's saying this. Creating an enemies list? Yeah, you're an enemy. I'm sorry. You're an enemy. And Laura Loomer responded with, honestly, a fucking nuke. She pulled out, I don't know how she did it. She pulled out the fucking nuke. Harvey Weinstein fucked your wife, Gavin Newsom. I know you're mad. You have to pretend to still love her, as she calls herself the first partner, and probably still has the taste of Harvey's dick in her mouth. But that's not an excuse to try to get Trump officials and ICE agents murdered. I will not lie to you. I will not lie to you. She fucking cooked. She cooked. What can she absolutely killed him. I don't know what's going on. Holy fuck, she killed him. Anyway, I was hoping for riot coverage. Oh, we'll be getting there. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Yeah, no, this is absolutely diabolical. Yeah, no, this is crazy. Like, literally fucking killed him. So Gavin Newsom's press office continued doubling down with shit like this. Here's Stephen Miller. Fascism. You see, as you can see, Gavin Newsom is trying his absolute best to capitalize on the Disney adult voter base. All right, Disney adults that thinks everything is fascism are literally lining up in droves to vote for Gavin Newsom. All right, and then yeah, that's where we're at. They really want a crazy leftist to shoot another conservative. Absolutely true. And then they're gonna say, you know, it wasn't a leftist, it was secretly a MAGA guy. We'll blame guns. They have the fucking game all laid out before them, and we have been way too easy and lenient on these motherfuckers for way too long. I'll be honest, way too lenient on this shit. We can't take this lightly because they're killing us and they want us dead and they're celebrating our deaths. So today I decided I am going to, because they're so scared of Stephen Miller to the point that they're putting a fucking target on their head. Before I show you the absolute retard shit, all right? I hope you're excited. Before I show you the retard shit going on in Portland, Oregon, I'm going to show you why they want Stephen Miller dead.
You may assert there's no waste in the Pentagon. You may assert there's no waste in
Stephen,
Treasury.
I'm not.
You assert there's no waste.
Stephen, I don't think anyone.
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted?
Good question. Good question.
It is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent. It is also true that many people...
He also didn't release the Epstein files, by the way.
...in this room who have used this talking...
I'm just saying, I think that leftists are trying to call Trump a fascist to obfuscate from the fact that they didn't release the Epstein files.
...point that Elon is not elected, fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a civics lesson. What President Trump is doing
Tell us how it is.
He is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people. We have these giant cavernous office buildings in Washington, D.C., carved out of marble, stone, and granite in the Greek classical style, some of the most gorgeous buildings on earth. The taxpayers fund it, they pay for it, they upkeep, they provide electricity to, and no one's showing up.
Yeah, what the hell,
And
man?
what are they doing at home? Watching their favorite streaming shows?
Yeah, what are they doing?
It's crazy.
Oh, he just kills the media. He's like really pretty. He's so basic. He just says basic, obvious facts, and they're fucking flabbergasted. He doesn't code it with anything. He's just like, are you retarded?
Of course they have to get back into the office because they work for everyone watching me today and watching you today. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They're in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, you will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are still not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. There is probably no entity in the government that is more of an entrenched power center of unelected bureaucrats with less accountability, less oversight than USAID. They funnel money to their cronies all over the world through a swampy network of NGOs, non-governmental organizations. What Democrats are saying is they oppose democracy itself. They oppose the idea that the American people...
They voted for Trump, and they want to get rid of him by any means necessary. They'll try to jail him. They'll try to kill him. They'll try to lie about him. They'll try everything to get rid of the man that was voted for by the people.
Can elect a man, in this case our President Donald Trump, to reform the government according to the will of the people. This is a battle between the will of the people through their Trump and the will of an
Shut up, bitch, bald man talking.
unelected federal bureaucracy. So we and President Trump are on the side of democracy.
The Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, and that's why they're trying to cook him. Dude, you don't understand how based he is, like, constantly. It's kind of crazy. So everyone's recognizing this fact, you know? They know exactly what they're doing and exactly why they're doing it.
Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna wait for this to go get snacky.
Everyone reportedly is excellent. Well, it depends on the wine. Depends on the wine. Some wine tastes like dog shit. I mean, not trying to be controversial or anything. Some wine is kind of dog shit. Try Israeli wine for good kosher wine. I've tried it. So I've tried a lot of wine from different places. This is gonna like shake you to your core. My favorite winery is in LA. I'm not even joking. Like, dude, I've tried all the Israeli wines. All right, I've tried them. The, like, Baron Herzog Winery in LA. Mwah. What can I say, man? Bible says stay sober. Well, I don't get drunk, really. I just taste a little from time to time. You know. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Israeli wine. Personally. Sinner? Yeah, well, I'm not Muslim, so therefore I am allowed to drink wine. Bible says wine is good for the stomach. Bible, is based. And what could I say? A little bit of wine, moderation. Hell yeah, dude. I just read Leviticus. I don't remember it saying anything about kosher drink. I'll explain why. So if you want the wine thing, so essentially, here's the lore. Here's the lore for kosher wine, because I'm sure all of you are very curious. That was sarcasm. I'm sure none of you care. But the lore for kosher wine, essentially is there used to be pagans that would pour wine to their idols in order to worship them properly. They would pour wine as like offerings to their idols. So because of that, they basically forbid, back in the day, partaking in wine that you didn't know if they were used for idol worship or not. So kosher wine is just basically Jews make the wine and monitor it. That, you know, it hasn't been poured out for the homie, let's just say. That's the lore. Jesus drank wine, said, don't be drunk. Dude, that's where we at. Kitsanero was asking if you drink, I sent you the clip. Socially, from time to time, yeah, but I don't, like, get drunk. Maybe once a year. Maybe once a year I get drunk. A little bit. Once a year I get a little drunk. You know. With the homies, as they say. A little bit. Alright. Let's go. Ready? What do you do, Purim? That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. I get kicked from the Roach Ranch community on Twitter for reposting your lives. Yeah, don't post my lives in other people's communities. That's, like, kind of bad etiquette. Like, I appreciate the support, don't get me wrong, but, you know, we're not trying to invade anybody's spaces. Why does your channel say chaos when you're logical? Ah, you see, that is the plan. That is the exact plan. Yep, we tricked them. They come in here expecting chaos, and then you shock them with facts and logic. What's Space King? It's, you know, it's only the, greatest indie animated series in the history of time. The best one ever made. Are you watching Space King? That's the plan. Alright, let's actually get this party started. I actually wanted to remember, a certain someone that seems to have been forgotten because of all the horrible situation that's been going on in the world. Space King is basically Warhammer Abridged. Space King is goated, okay? Space King is amazing. They need to get whoever made Space King to work on the actual, Warhammer live action. Yo, Rotek, thanks for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you, sir. Thank you. All right. Space King is great, not as great as Amazing Digital Circus. L-Take, Space King is the best. Sorry. L-Take, Space King is the best. It's infinitely rewatchable. It's amazing. I love Space King. I praise Space King. Space King's the GOAT. Is Space King new? Well, episode 3 just came out. We're gonna watch it today, probably. At least that's the plan. Dan Syndrome, thank you for the sub. And Drowner, thank you for the $1. And Jazz Stout, thank you for the $1. New SAO abridged. Yeah, the plan is to do it. The plan is to watch that. I'm not sure if it'll be today though. How much of your donation will you give to Space King? Space King don't need nothing. JD48. Yes, yes. Mandan, thank you for the $1 and Hashin, the 10 cents. That's my goat. Yeah. Hey, brother, rarely catch you live. Hell yeah, dude. Welcome to the stream. Drowner, 50 cents. Diego, 1 penny. Alright, we're not shouting at the pennies. Just out, thanks for the buck. Alright, let's go. Alright. Anyone mention the attack on the church? Yeah. 1 confirmed dead. Unfortunately, 2 confirmed dead. Unfortunately. Don P. Bongwater with the 5 subs. My God, thank you so much for the 5 subs. Really appreciate the support. That's really nice of you. The GOAT. The GOAT is here. Leo Unleashed, thanks for 50 cents. There were 2 church attacks today? What? No. No, there weren't. Four people shot on the side of the highway in Alexandria, Louisiana. 8 people shot, 3 dead in Southport, North Carolina. 4 people shot in a parking lot in Raleigh, North Carolina. 10 people shot, 1 killed in the church of Grand Blanc, Michigan. 4 people shot, 1 killed on Bourbon Street, New Orleans. 7 people shot, 2 killed in a casino in Eagle Pass, Texas. Oh my God. Yikes. Things are getting horrible. All right. Alrighty. Anyway, let's go. Ready, gamers? Let's do it. As an Israeli, I hope Trump knows what he's doing. We'll see, I guess. Trump says that something big is happening in the Middle East. We'll see what happens. Hope it's good. We'll see. Alrighty. Charlie Kirk was not Latter-day Saints. Don't know why that's relevant, but no, he was not. Honestly, it's it's really rough, man. They're killing a lot of, like, it's kind of scary these days. It really is. All right. We did not forget about Irina Zarutska, okay? All right? We did not forget about her. There was an unbelievable amount of tragedy that happened over the last couple of weeks, but we did not forget you, Irina, and we will not ever forget you, okay? You did not deserve what happened to you, and horrifyingly enough, it happened to you anyway. So, JD, 48, JD, just Dance Vans, 48, he gave kind of a beautiful speech. So I'm going to show you a clip, because I think it's really important, because we have something of an issue in modern Western civilization, and that is accepting cultures that want you dead. I know it sounds pretty weird. Like, why would you accept a culture that wants you dead? I don't know. Ask your libtard neighbor that would celebrate your murder. So, let's see what JD, Just Dance Vans 48 has to say.
The thing is, it actually bumped out of the news, this terrible story in Charlotte. And here's the basic summary, as far as I can recall it, is you have a violent criminal who has been arrested 14 times,
That's
often
right.
for very violent offenses.
Now, I want to make this clear right off the bat. A lot of people are saying the murder happened in a red state, so it doesn't matter. Anyone that says that, with all due respect, needs to immediately fuck themselves in the ass. I'm sorry. It's the only thing you have to do. You have to immediately do that. Turn around and start stretching. Start doing Pilates, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do it. This person was let out of jail 14 times by black DEI activist woke judges. Okay? With all due respect, this has absolutely nothing to do with any of that shit. Okay? Your story has crumbled. All right, moving on.
Who gets on a bus with an innocent young girl, 22
right.
years old,
That's
and
right.
slits her throat, and she dies.
Nightmare.
She died because she was coming home from work. She worked at a pizzeria.
All right, for those of you that haven't seen the video, honestly, if you're the faint of heart, don't see it, but watch it. It's a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. For no reason, this fucking hoodlum gets up behind her and murders her for no reason, and then mutters to himself, "I got that white girl. I got that white girl."
She came from a beautiful family. She had a young
Right.
boyfriend. She had her entire life
And she was an ally. She had like Black Lives Matter posters. She was an ally. They don't care.
ahead of her, and she was actually a refugee from Ukraine.
That's right.
So she came from a war-torn country. She sought shelter in the United States of America, and because of soft-on-crime policies, she was murdered here, not in the war-torn country she came from. Isn't that a disgrace?
It really is.
And isn't that an insult to
True.
the incredible law enforcement officers who arrested
That's
this
right.
person for...
Dude, JD, Just Dance Vance, I have to say, bro knows exactly where to put the emphasis. Okay? The libtard said, well, the police aren't doing their jobs. Police aren't doing their jobs. They arrested this motherfucker 14 times.
14 times. They did everything that they could to keep this thug off the streets, and
right.
it was the political...
They're calling him a racist for calling him a thug, by the way. But I fully stand by any racial slurs you want to send to murderers. Okay? Really hot take. Sending racial slurs to murderers is actually kind of based.
leadership that failed, and we got to be honest about that. I saw former Governor Cooper say, and this is Michael Watley's opponent.
That's right.
Former Governor Cooper said
That's right.
just a
Call him
couple of
out.
days after the attack that we
Name and shame.
have got to do more when it comes to law enforcement to keep people like this off the streets. And my response
That's
was,
right.
Governor,
Cook him, JD.
he was arrested 14 times.
Cook,
law
JD.
enforcement did their job. It's time for you to do your job.
Straight facts. Straight facts. 100%. Unbelievable. There is a mental retardation problem on the left that I've noticed. It all started when they started saying that there are more than two genders. That's when I was like, wait a second. I don't understand. The B in LGBT stands for bisexual. The B in LGBT literally means there's two genders. And then I was like, wait a second, they are retarded. Anyway, can't keep their stories straight or something. But we remember. So Sam Hyde, before we see Sam Hyde, JD Vance made this tweet, which I thought is really amazing. Daniel Penny prevented this from happening on New York City subway instead of thanking him, and he hated him for it. Completely true, by the way. All right, and just literally, completely, and utterly, factually, unfathomably true. Daniel Penny is some guy that acted in self-defense because there was a man of a very dark white complexion. All right, it was a white man with black skin. Weird how that happens. Basically tried to kill somebody, and he intervened and, you know, in self-defense, killed that guy. They dragged him. They dragged him through the fucking mud. Dark white man. Yeah, I call it... Listen, I'm the media now. I have to start calling all the killers white people. Don't you understand? That's how it works. I am the media, so therefore it is the untold truth. I have to start calling everyone white people. That's right. You didn't hear about those two white people, both named Mohammed Abdul, that blew up a fucking Fox News van? You didn't hear about that? So anyway, anywho's I'ma lose it, all right? A man with dark skin of unknown race almost killed someone, was stopped by Daniel Penny, and in self-defense, Daniel Penny killed him. Daniel Penny was found innocent in court, but they still fucking tried to ruin his life over it. They still tried to ruin his life in every possible way. And if there would have been a Daniel Penny on this bus, he would have saved her. And, I mean, realistically, everyone on this bus didn't even get up to rush to her after she was stabbed in the neck. What an absolute nightmare. So JD Vance made this tweet because there was a shooting today that happened in a church, a Mormon church. There was a shooting. 2 people were killed, I think. 9 wounded. Truly a nightmare. Honestly, unbelievable that this keeps happening. It really is a war on God. Honestly, that's what's happening in our country. Ever since Charlie Kirk died, there has been a resurgence in faith, and the devil is trying his best to stop it, and he will fail. But as it stands right now, it's really horrible. So JD Vance said, just an awful situation in Michigan. FBI is on the scene. Entire administration is monitoring things. Say a prayer for the victims and first responders, which of course I did, and I urge you all to do as well. So, tap sign, it's obviously both sides, stat from the ADL. Absolutely, this is very important to recognize. Look, guys, according to my chart, it is actually both sides. This is very important to recognize. It is a both sides issue. So, Sam Hyde, who, for the record, is like an edgelord comedian, all right? He's not like, known to be the nicest, biggest-hearted guy. The Charlie Kirk and Arena murders were so unbelievably heart-wrenching for normal people with souls. Leftists might not know about this. It's called a soul. It's this thing that makes you kind of like understand there is a spiritual realm. Whatever, they'll figure it out one day, I hope. I pray to God that they figure that shit out. The sooner the better, honestly. But Sam Hyde dropped this intro to a video, and honestly, it was correct.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake.
Remember Austin Metcalf, also stabbed by someone, some unruly person of questionable ethnic background? Just because he was a white guy?
That is a symbol. That is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently.
That's right. And that's where we're at, man. That's really where we're at. And as soon as people actually begin to recognize that this is what's going on, that's when you could stop it. And as much as the media and the enemies, all right, the enemies of humanity will try their absolute best to gaslight you and make believe that, of course, it's a both sides issue. It's everyone. Everyone's the problem. Because you have to understand, from the perspective of the leftoid, Marxist, castrated mind, every human being is exactly the same. Your cultures, your backgrounds, your faiths, your religions, none of that matters at all. You are a human being. You are a clump of cells. You are just a guy roaming this nihilistic earth. No human belongs in any land. No land is owned by anyone. No one can actually create or build anything. And that is the mindset of the people that say both sides. All right, you are a monetary interchangeable unit. All right, full globo homo. Now, the realistic aspect is that's not true. Not all cultures are the same. In fact, all cultures are different. Every person is different. Every person is powerful and valuable and made in the image of God and should be protected and cherished. But we're not all the same. That's the reality of the situation, and it's exactly what they don't want you to see. All right? From their perspective, every human being is exactly identical. Just an interchangeable unit, clump of cells. And that's what they see. Cenk made this tweet. I thought it was insane. At a time when Muslim Americans are in the middle of their biggest civil rights struggle. What? And desperate to be treated as humans. What? American press is obsessed with anti-Semitism. How biased do you have to be to think Israel's supporters are the powerless victims in this country? So I responded to this fat fuck. 2 Israeli Christians get murdered in Washington, D.C. Jews get firebombed in Colorado. Catholic kids get murdered in a church in Minnesota. 10 people get shot today in a Mormon church in Michigan. Muslims most affected. And that's kind of where we're at. We are very... And, of course, I ratioed the fat, sweaty fuck. He probably didn't notice because he was too busy masturbating to naked pictures of animals or whatever he's into. But realistically, this is where we're at. All right, this is where we're at. We're at a point in history where the people will consistently sit there and make believe that they are the ultimate victims, say both sides are a problem. Look at how he addressed the church shooting. Look at the tweet he made to address the church shooting. It's absolutely insane. We have another shooting, this time in Mormon church. Who shoots Mormons? This is crazy. We have to stop shooting each other. Again, interchangeable monetary clumps of cells. We're not shooting each other. You don't see religious Mormon people going out there killing people. That doesn't happen. This is not an each other situation. It really isn't. All right? I'll be honest. That's why it's so annoying. Like, yes, if you look at his tweet on face value, he's right. We should stop shooting each other. But it's really not each other. You know? It's really not each other. Interestingly enough, this church is in the middle of Michigan, which is being overrun currently by another, let's say, not so Catholic Christian religion that is also from Abrahamic descent and is also not Jewish. It is a different Abrahamic religion that is currently taking over Michigan. I just made a video on it. You can check that one out if you want. But it turns out the reality of the situation is you're not retarded. You're evil. Just want to make that clear. There's a big difference between retarded and evil. And you don't get the privilege of being considered a retard. So think before you sleep. Just drop this video. It's really long. The first half of this video is going to be talking about Irina, he told me, and the second half is Charlie Kirk. I've already covered Charlie Kirk in depth, but I want to make sure that people don't forget Irina. Because I feel like Irina was killed, and then right after that, Charlie Kirk was killed. And then right after that, there were just unbelievable amounts of shootings, terrorist attacks, shooting ICE agents, Antifa riots, shooting churches, and unfortunately, she fell out of the news cycle. And I saw Vance make that statement saying that we can't forget her just because she fell out of the news cycle, and he's completely correct. Because realistically, the issue that we're living on here is, from my perspective, I believe, with my whole heart, all right, as it says in Deuteronomy 6:5, all right, Deuteronomy 6:5. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. The way I see it, this is a battle of good and evil. This is a battle of different people with different backgrounds that for some reason cannot properly mesh, and everyone is trying their absolute most to make sure that meshing does not happen. They don't want integration, they want war, they want destruction. So here's what we're talking about. We're talking about how human beings are not interchangeable units that are just clumps of cells, but people that come from backgrounds, that come from cultures that are all made in the image of God and all valuable, but not all cultures are the same. And we're seeing that in real time.
Okay. Oh, please don't hold my arm.
Obviously, I'm not going to show it, but that was a Korean woman who almost had a very traumatizing experience. And it was thanks to, I believe, this guy that she didn't have that experience.
Oh, thank you so much.
This whole
What do you mean? She was just getting culturally enriched. What are you talking about? She was just getting culturally enriched by a different culture that is exactly the same as hers. What do you mean? Because every person's the same, from the same culture. What are you talking about? This is just cultural enrichment. Don't you want this around your children? Don't you want this? If you don't, you're racist. If you don't, you're a bigot. You should know. Oh, you didn't get the memo. You didn't get the memo. It's fascism if you don't want this to happen.
The whole event happened in China, by the way, so it was all very multicultural, and I think it helps bring a prevalent problem to people's attention, a problem that a lot of people have started to notice. This next thing comes from Japan. It shows a picture of some passports, and it says, banned countries on the top in Japanese. A tweet commenting on it says, some Japanese nightclubs reportedly banned passports from Turkey, Syria, Bangladesh, India, Afghanistan, and Pakistan.
Why would they do that? That's so racist. That is so racist that they would specifically pick these countries. I can't believe it. Why would they do it? All human beings are the same. Cultures don't matter. All cultures are identical, right? Last time I said that there are some cultures that are inferior than others, I got dragged on Twitter for a week. We're fucking doing this again. That's right, Twitter. I don't learn my lesson.
In response to their bad behavior towards female customers. This particular picture seems to stem from a Turkish Instagram account, and while I can't tell you what he's saying in his video, many Japanese people have commented on the issue. Here's a post from someone who works security in Japanese clubs. I will note that this post is translated, so I'll show the original really quickly for people who care. Now, my Japanese isn't perfect, but I have to say that the translation is close enough. In short, the first two paragraphs basically confirm the nightclub issue, and under this post, there are tons of Japanese people talking about behavior from foreigners.
What?
And I think everyone's at a level of fatigue where...
I am personally shocked because I was taught by my liberal college professors that all cultures are identical. There's no such thing as some cultures that are worse than other cultures. That's what my college professor taught me. There's no way they were lying to propagandize me, right? There's no way the hive mind wanted me castrated and retarded.
They're all thinking, if this is how certain groups of people are going to behave, then Japanese clubs are justified in doing this until their behavior changes. And people aren't afraid anymore to call this stuff out.
Woke is dead, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah!
Now I have my reservations about Elon's character and personal behavior. However, he did basically steal every bit of power that these rejects had.
Elon Musk, whatever, you could call him cringe, you can call him autistic, maybe his mother took Tylenol when she was pregnant, I don't want to get involved. Elon Musk saved Western civilization by buying Twitter. I'm just saying, not trying to be controversial here or anything, he saved the West. Alright, really hot take, bro saved the West. Zero hyperbole, I actually mean it. Okay, no one would know Irina Zarutska was murdered if not for Elon Musk. That story was not in the fucking media. Because of Twitter. Because of Twitter. People know that this is happening.
By buying Twitter and allowing people to speak freely.
Marvel now has regained the rights to X-Men. I think it would be a really cool idea to have a trans woman be Mystique.
Bro, stop. It's over. Dude, Elon bought Twitter. We don't need to make believe there's infinite genders anymore. Alright, we don't need to make believe it. We caved into your delusions long enough hoping you'd grow out of it. But, sorry, we don't need to do that.
Oh my god, shut up. Nobody cares.
We need to affirm more retards, alright? If they're mentally ill, you know what we gotta do? Affirm that shit immediately. I was catching some heat on the timeline, so I decided to go a little crazy. I have to show you a tweet that I made today. It was absolutely diabolical. So, it turns out, the person that shot at the ICE facility in Texas, and missed the ICE agents and ended up killing illegal immigrants. You know, God's ironic, horrifyingly dark comedy, I guess. But that guy was a furry too, it turned out. So people have been showing some furry clips. Like these are adults, man. These are adults. This is a furry being dragged. Like I don't even know why. Like this is crazy. We do not need to affirm this shit. So I hit them with this banger. Alright, so you have this dude over here with heroin, wine, the Harry Potter movies plus porn, and the auto-masturbator. And then normal humans' response is, this is kind of weird. And then you get your average libtard empath saying, oh my god, let people enjoy things. No, actually, that's fucking crazy. We have to stop affirming these retards. We have to stop doing it. Like, dude, here was another one. Pete Hegseth being based. All right, so this is retard McGoogle in court.
Because if it were,
I mean, in the Congress.
you would be keeping these women in. Instead,
Meaning trans women in the military.
you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on.
But these are men.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. Everybody, don't worry. Fantastic news. She's gonna educate us. All right, she's an empath. She knows science.
And so what we've identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to
that
General.
are detrimental to readiness.
That's right.
And that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't, because
Yeah, so we're not playing the game anymore. I'm sorry. So I responded with the absolute murder on the timeline. That's transphobic with the so what lol infinite response. And honestly, an unsurmountable defense. Right? If you hit them with the so what lol, they are fucked. It's over. Like this is a complete and utter destruction. Like what are they going to do at that point? So anyway, that's where we're at.
Not doing this anymore. If you want to create a story that no one reads, then go write fan fiction. So the result of this newfound free speech, thanks to Elon, is that we're now not censored for pointing things out like criminal behavior, and I guess we'll call it cultural replacement through pathological immigration policies. And before anyone calls any of this racist, for one, I don't care. No one cares anymore. Two, a great...
Dude, so what lol is the ultimate defense. It's the ultimate response. It shuts them down entirely.
Man once said that he dreamed of a time where people would be judged by the content of their character.
That's right.
And criticizing people's behaviors and cultural trends is not racism. You're being judged by your actions. Expecting special treatment or special protections from criticism because you're a certain race is racist. Because racism requires a superiority complex, and saying that it's illegal for people to criticize you or that you're above the law because of your race is the suggestion that you're superior. And before we get into it, just to make this all perfectly clear right at the start of the video, because I know there are people who will actively try to misinterpret what I'm saying. So personally, on an individual level, I don't think I'm superior to any one individual of any race. I've met great Middle Eastern people. I'm a big fan of Middle Eastern food. Obviously, I have respect for Asians. I've been studying Japanese for years. Mexicans are great, and I've met plenty of smart Indians and studied some of their philosophy when I was younger.
Dude, the thing is, I like, it's really nice that he's saying that. I, again, view every single person, every single human being is made in the image of God. Every single person has a purpose. God designed the world for every single one of us individually. All right? There's a reason why God needs you. All right? That's my perspective. That's the way I view the world. That said, I would not want to sit in front of the guy that murdered fucking Irina Zarubska, to be honest. I personally probably wouldn't do it, I'll be honest. Not trying to be cruel here or anything, I just understand a little thing called patterns. And I realize that if you have this fucking crackhead sitting behind you, you don't necessarily want to sit next to him. I'll be real, some racism would have saved Irina Zarubska's life. She would have picked a different seat if she was a little bit racist, and she would have lived. But unfortunately, her lack of racism killed her. Sorry to be blunt, that's where we at.
For example, I think the Indian concept of karma is great, in the Western sense, and its original meaning described in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll be talking about karma a bit in this video.
Bro's just flexing his random knowledge of other cultures. By the way, Think Before You Sleep is a really educated guy. He reads a lot of shit. I'm actually really impressed.
Oh. That being said, certain places have different cultural values, and if outsiders don't want to adhere to those values, then they can leave. Which brings us to this video here.
Over time, I noticed there was a lot more newcomers, especially more Punjabi kind of guys, which was fine. Like, I honestly had no problem with it. These men, specifically, were always groping and touching women and, like, coming in these circles and just dancing in a way that made a lot of people feel really uncomfortable. But the other thing that I've noticed is we're just seeing a lot more of this, like, predatory behavior from these newcomer groups of people, and I think it's just so terrible how they can hide behind something like racism, and women who have been, like, actually groped in a bar are not allowed to come out and say this or say that we feel uncomfortable. And I don't even feel...
For the record, there is a 100% chance she voted left wing. Right, this is the empathy party. Look, on the one hand, I'm really sorry this happened to you. On the other hand, you did this to yourself. Like, obviously, that doesn't make it okay that it happened to her. But this is your fault. You. Maybe not you as an individual, but you as a collective. You as a statistic. It is your fault. You are doing this, okay? And the way she started this fucking video, by the way, was, I'm just saying, I don't hate anyone, everyone's good, not being racist, everyone's acceptable, I appreciate them all, they're all good, they're all the same, every single one of them, we love all of them, disclaimer, disclaimer, not racist, they're all amazing. We're getting raped in the streets, guys. It's like, okay, thanks for the disclaimers, empath.
Safe going to bars anymore.
You absolutely are allowed to talk about this. Stop letting these people hide behind calling you racist. You aren't the only one
I mean, to be fair, she is Canadian, so, I mean, whatever.
noticing.
Canada's kind of over. I don't know if you're aware, Canada's kind of over. We're calling Canada Neo-India from now on. It'll be neighbors with everyone's favorite European nation, Englandostan.
It's not racist to say, hey, a bunch of Indians recently moved.
Frankistan. That's Palestine in France, because that's where they recognize the Palestinian state as the capital of France.
Here, and they're throwing trash everywhere. I mean, if they want to live in human waste, then they can go back to India. Here's the cleanest river I was able to find. But now is not the time to be afraid to speak up. And
for the record, I think Indian people are super nice people. Super nice, open, loving people. They just don't care about some things that I personally do care about. Like, poop on the floor, as an example. Again, not everyone is like that, obviously. But realistic. But you know, we see things differently, okay? Listen. Again, I don't mean this is like a hate thing. I just think that they have different hygienic standards. Which, all power to them. But please do it in India.
the way, all of the Indians who don't disrespect the countries they immigrate to hate this behavior because it makes them look bad. So they will full-on support you when you call it out. Now, before I show this next video, it's a little confusing at the start. So to be clear, this Indian woman is criticizing people who litter.
I will throw garbage on the road. I pay my taxes. The government has hired sanitation workers. They should do their job. If the road is dirty, it's not my fault. I will dirty it anytime. Now, this is the kind of the mentality that Indians...
For the record, a lot of people move to countries and do actually try to assimilate. This is a rule thing, by the way. All right, this is a real, true thing. A lot of people do try to actually assimilate. Some people don't. That's the problem. If you're moving to another country or culture, assimilate to that culture. I'll be real, and I'm not judging you because this is what you do in your homeland. And if I move to your homeland, I will try my best to assimilate. This is a poop war festival in India where they fling poop at each other, and I'll be real, personally, not my thing. But power to you guys, okay? Listen, power to you. Not say, look, whatever floats your boat.
Feel entitled towards. We should do our bit and understand what is the right or clean habit.
Well, actually, let me add a bit more nuance because in the full video, she says that she had dirty habits but fixed them after criticism, and as a result, she was explaining the entitled mentality that a lot of Indians have on this issue. Another bullying success story. I swear a bunch of Twitter racists are going to end up saving India from infectious disease, as many Indians in the comments say they're working on sanitation anytime someone shows a trash pile on social media. So it's not bad to call this stuff out because it makes things better for everyone, and good people appreciate it when boundaries are set. As for the bad ones, I don't care about them. Throw them in prison if they break the law, or deport them if they refuse to assimilate.
Assimilate or leave. It's that easy.
And the consequences of not staying silent on this is that you get to live in a nice place.
Okay, everybody, I'm here in Seoul, South Korea. As you can see, everyone, they have these like inflatable...
Every single time I see a video of Charlie Kirk, it like breaks my heart. It actually breaks my heart. I am still, like, you know, here we are weeks later. I am still absolutely shaken and ravaged that this dude was taken from us so soon. Obviously, he's fighting a much more important battle up there. But wow, dude, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
Cushy chairs, everyone is reading. This would last about 35 seconds in most American cities.
This shit would get stabbed immediately. It would get vandalized right away.
You can have nice stuff. Crime is a choice. We shouldn't put up with it. South Korea doesn't. We shouldn't either.
Right, Charlie. We shouldn't have to put up with crime, and South Korea is not the only place like that. Recently, I was in Japan, and I have to say that the cities are extremely safe and clean there. That being said, before...
Yeah, it's almost like if you arrest criminals, there are less criminals or something, probably. Or something. I mean, personally, I would never understand.
Before I play this next clip, I just want to give a little trigger warning because you could never do this in America. This is how safe Japan is.
When people leave their bags or wallets or personal items on tables in Japan. More often than not, you might be thinking, oh, I've probably forgotten it, I should do something, I should grab it and run off with it and show the shop staff. Don't do that, because 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who has reserved that table using their own possessions.
Oh my god, they reserve a table with an iPhone? That's actually fucking... Oh my god, that's crazy! Whoa, dude, that is a high-trust society, ladies and gentlemen. No wonder why Johnny Somali got fucking butt-whooped over there. That's amazing. Holy crap, not America. And you think America's bad? Dude, Europe? There are pickpockets on every single subway and every train in all of Europe, okay? You have... People put padlocks on backpacks in Spain, alright? Dude.
Repeat that. It is so safe in Japan that you can leave your wallet or your phone on a table out in the open, go to the bathroom, and no one will try to steal it. And again, as someone who has been there, I have to say that it is uncanny to be able to walk into a public park in the middle of a city at 2 in the morning and no one tries to stab you.
Damn,
the dark alleyways at 2 a.m. are safe too. In fact, it is so safe in Japan that it is very common for Japanese people to pass out drunk on the street, get a full 8 hours, and wake up perfectly unharmed. But that doesn't mean that there aren't bad actors trying to disrupt that peaceful environment. Japan is currently going through a pretty big birthing crisis, and instead of, maybe writing...
Yeah, Japan. Oh, no, Japan, don't do it, don't do it. Japan's like, what does Europe do with their birthing crisis? Well, they import people. For real, yep, for real.
In some workers...
See, Japan has its issues. Now, let me make this clear, all right? I'm gonna be very upfront with you. No culture is perfect. Every culture has its issues. They have their advantages. They have their disadvantages. Japan, they absolutely prioritize working. They prioritize working so much, so unbelievably high, that their birth rates are super low. People are passing out from overworking. People are committing suicide from failing at their jobs. Dude, Japan has unbelievable, massive crises to deal with, even though, obviously, it's a beautiful society regarding...